Good morning, everyone. Whether you're joining us virtually or are physically present in our sanctuary, I welcome you this day with us here at Quimper Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. My opening words today are authored by Jamila Batchelder and Molly Hoosh Gordon and is entitled The Strength of Water. Parenthetically, see if you can recognize yourself anywhere here. The strength of water takes on many, many forms, just as each of you has a unique and necessary strength that you bring to our community and to the work of love. Take a moment now to drop down, deep down, into the wellspring of your own spirit and bathe yourself in the strength that is the groundwater of your person. Are you a roaring fall wearing rock away with the sheer force of will? And if I get to the next page, you'll hear the rest. Are you a tiny drop of water in a crevice, breaking it open slowly, steadily? Are you buoyant like a great salt lake, practiced at holding others aloft? Are you tenacious like a mountain stream, finding your way down and around every obstacle you face? Are you still and calm like the pond at daybreak, offering radiant peace by your shores? Are you in touch with hidden depths, pulling from a vast well? Do you soothe like the steam rising from a cup of tea? Do you dissolve away stubborn muck like water left in a pot to soak? Do you soften and smooth the edges like a creeping fog? Do you clear away distractions like a cleansing rain? Do you roll with the ebb and flow like the ocean waves? Settle your mind upon the strength, the power that is yours. Draw that strength into your heart. Draw it up into your soul. As we gather together the many waters of this community today, we need each of your power, each of your resilience, each of your love to make us whole. My name is Dean Carr, and I'm a member of the board here at QUUF. As we gather, I acknowledge that the water, land, and shorelines here in Port Townsend are the traditional territory of the S'Klallam and Chemakum peoples. We honor and acknowledge our Indigenous members and neighbors and vow to help restore and sustain these homelands. If you're visiting here today, I offer a special welcome and invite you to join us for refreshments and conversation in the fellowship hall after the service. We have a newcomers table near the patio doors where our greeters are ready to answer any questions you might have. Welcome to you all this morning. We're glad you're here. A few announcements. The deadline for also proposals, any class, event, field trip, or fun gathering you want to host this spring is December 1st. There is also a link for also submissions on our website and on our weekly update. We are in need of 1 or 2 more assistant cooks and 1 more server for our Wednesday meal at the emergency shelter. See Kathy Stevenson if you can help. Kathy, right there. All right. John Gallm would like to remind you that the Dances for Universal Peace is today at 2 o'clock. John, where are you? All right, there he is. So speak with him if you'd like to have some more information there. And I'm pleased to introduce another of the Nibbler cousins, Boris Nibbler. We're at the tail end of the auction, and he's here with an update. Boris, where are you?
Ah, hello, Boris. Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm Boris Nibbler. And my cousins, you remember them, Doris, Horace, Morris, Norris, and Bree, and I, would like to thank you all for the warm welcome that we've received from your dynamic congregation. As many of you know, my cousins and I were not able to be here at the gala on Friday, but our cousin Fontina did, and she told us it was a huge success. All the tables were here. It was really fun. She said she really enjoyed fielding questions from Sarah Walker. We heard what a grand event it was. Stunning tables orchestrated by talented hosts, great music, the epic slideshow, 6 raffle baskets, the Fund a Need, a dessert dash, friends, fun, and fellowship. Who could ask for anything more? The Fund a Need this year is to support our beloved religious education program for youth. That programming costs $103,000 a year, or $565 per Sunday. The Fund a Need goal is $21,000. On Friday, we raised $21,150. That is marvelous. Does that mean we're done? Of course not. You can still donate if you haven't already, and even if you have, you can still donate some more. As Cousin Morris said, we're not just squeaking by. Please donate to the Fund a Need if you haven't, or if you have. Let's exceed that goal and not just squeak by. Thank you to everyone who worked on the auction and contributed to the auction and Fund a Need. But wait, I just said contributed, as if it was past tense. The auction doesn't end until today at 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. What time? 5 p.m. So you still have time till 5 to bid on some exciting things. The auction team just gave me a list of some really fun things that you might want to take a look at. For example, the Reverend Linda Hart has offered to do a sermon on a topic of your choice. Imagine that. You can choose the topic and she will talk about it at a sermon. You can get 4 nights in a modern Sprinter camper van and drive around in Campbell, Olympic Peninsula, or somewhere that you want. You can stay for a week in a lovely private guest house in Uptown. Wow. Or you can have a marvelous opportunity to double your donation by donating to QUUF. Your donation will be matched at either Habitat for Humanity, Dove House, the Jefferson County Land Trust, or the Olympic Angels. Check it out. Remember, this is a very modern thing. All auction happens online. You have to go online to the QUUF website, find the auction link, and find the way to donate through there. So, there's 3 ways that you can support the auction. The first one, ready? You can bid on items, the ones I just mentioned, or many others. You've seen the displays outside. Number 2, you can donate to the Fund a Need to support religious education. Number 3, you can make a donation directly to the auction during the checkout process. Or, I cheated, number 4, you can write a check to QUUF noting auction in the memo line in a moment when there's going to be money being collected, and that will go to support the auction and support QUUF, our beloved community, and all the things that we do. We do want QUUF to thrive. Now, a little note on housekeeping. On Sunday, or soon after, you will get an email saying that you won something at the auction, if you did in fact win something. If you donated something to the auction, you will get an email saying who won your donation. So if you won something, you have to come get it. So please come pick it up at the foyer here this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. Once again, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. There will be somebody here very happy to see that auction item go away. Christina will be here. The auction team will be so happy if you do, so that we don't have to be chasing after you afterwards. Thank you all for a wonderful auction. I can't wait to see how much we raise in total. Please be bold in your support to QUUF. QUUF is our spiritual home, a social justice mover and a vibrant community cornerstone. We want QUUF to be here for us, for the community, and for the future. Your generous support of the auction helps make that happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Boris. Let us settle our minds and calm our hearts.
Thank you, that was beautiful. So our opening words are from Robin Wall Kimmerer's essay on the serviceberry. This abundance of berries feels like a pure gift from the land. I have not earned, paid for, nor labored for them. There is no mathematics of worthiness that reckons I deserve them in any way. And yet, they are here, along with the sun and the air and the birds and the rain, gathering in the towers of cumulonimbi. So please join me in our chalice lighting words. We're going to read them together as a responsive reading. Here we go. Each morning, we hold out our chalice of being to be filled with the graces of life that abound. They come in ritual procession, these gifts of life. Whether we deserve them, we cannot know or say. For they are poured out over us. Our task is to hold steady the chalice of our being. We carry the chalice with us as we go. We share its abundance if we have any sense, reminding others as we remind ourselves of the contents of the chalice we don't deserve. Water from living streams fills it, if only we hold it out faithfully. We give back, if we can, something of ourselves, some love, some beauty, some grace, some gift. We give back in gratitude for the infinite, something of what is poured into our chalice of being, for those who abide with us and will follow. Each morning, we hold out the chalice of our being to receive, to carry, to give back. Our opening song is Come Now, Holy Day, composed by me, and Gretchen and Jess are going to join me. Please rise in body or spirit. We're going to sing it a couple times through and then invite you to join us. Come now, holy day, and fill my cup with gladness. Come now, holy day, and fill my cup with joy. Come now, holy day, and fill my cup with gladness. Come now, holy day, and fill my cup with joy. Come now, holy day, and fill my cup with gladness. Come now, holy day, and fill my cup with joy. Come now, holy day, and fill my cup with gladness. Come now, holy day, and fill my cup with joy. Come now, holy day, and fill my cup with gladness. Come now, holy day, and fill my cup with joy. Come now, holy day, and fill my cup with gladness. Come now, holy day, and fill my cup with joy. Come now, holy day, and fill my cup with gladness. Come now, holy day, and fill my cup with joy.
Yes. Hello. I am just Beaming with joy, today we have the privilege of receiving 16 new members into our fellowship. They've each completed our new member orientation process and are here today to join our congregation officially. On behalf of our Board of Trustees and our entire fellowship, I'd like to welcome these incoming new members and express my hope that your experience here will be inspiring and transformative, both for you and for our whole congregation. Thank you.
We are especially glad this morning to have this be an intergenerational celebration. You may remember that in 2020 we amended our bylaws so that youth over the age of 12 can go through the membership process and officially join the fellowship. So this fall we have 2 youth who have stepped up to become members. In addition to this group of new members, we have 4 parents of children from our religious education program, and our new members span ages across 8 decades. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Now, Elizabeth Walker and Kathy Stevenson from our membership and belonging team will introduce the new members to the congregation.
Incoming members, we are so happy to welcome each of you into our fellowship. Could all the new members please rise now and stand at the bottom of the stairs here? As we read each of your names and introductions, could you please come up to Rev. Linda and sign the membership book and then remain on the chancel? Kate Story moved to Port Townsend from Illinois after her retirement in 2013. She joined QUF then and became active in the Native Connections Action Group and Social Justice Committee. She returned to the Midwest to be with her family during the pandemic, but this year moved back here and is reactivating her membership in QUF. Mike Walker is an ordained UU minister who has served as an interim minister at churches all over the country. He is currently on hiatus as a minister while he completes a PhD in clinical psychology. He is joining this congregation as a member and will not be providing ministerial services except occasional guest preaching. Dina Bugle-Shunra is drawn to the humanist and universalist aspects of the beloved community. She and her husband Daniel raised their 2 children in Port Townsend after coming home in 2001. A translator by inclination and profession, she seeks to be a bridge between cultures and to knock down walls that impede mutual understanding. Equity and justice in the Middle East and at home are her motivating passions. June Scott, along with her husband Ken, is a new resident of Port Townsend. She was first drawn to Unitarian Universalism 30 years ago during an emotionally and spiritually challenging time while living in Pasadena. She was comforted by the community of seekers, feeling at home in a spiritual setting that encouraged questions and exploration. June is a landscape architect and avid gardener, and at QUF she is looking forward to the church's climate and environmental justice programs. Ken Rudman, who is married to June Scott, feels drawn to QUF in search of an intentional community with a shared goal of learning and service. He is not new to UU, but perhaps a bit rusty, having been a member of Neighborhood Church in Pasadena about 30 years ago. Ken is looking forward to engaging both socially and spiritually. I think the Turleys are not here, but I will read their bios anyway. Jack Turley has been spending his post-retirement time sailing his boat, flying his 78-year-old small plane, and volunteering with the Lindbergh Foundation. He has traveled extensively, especially in Asia, and has visited churches, temples, and shrines, but has never belonged to any church. He looks forward to learning more about QUF with his wife, Gillian. Gillian Turley is a Northwest resident with Canadian roots. Through her Canadian family, she inherited a deep appreciation for the arts, and through her Northwest experience, a profound appreciation of nature. She finds that in art and in nature, there is evidence of something both beyond us and greater than us. Through several life-defining experiences, her sense of connection to something greater has only deepened. Whether working with Native peoples through her nonprofit, kayaking in Puget Sound, or painting, she tends to think of God as a verb, that in the act of creating something, we are literally building love.
Willow Parvati has been coming to QUF since they were 5 years old. They are very thankful for the friends they have made here and the activities they have been able to participate in, such as Quimper Camp and the Harvest Festival. They currently attend Ocean and play viola in the Port Townsend High School Orchestra. They are also involved in multiple maritime programs. After high school, they plan to take a gap year and work and bike across the country. Zane Patricia Brown worked previously as a marriage and family therapist in San Diego. Having been raised Southern Baptist, she is drawn to the welcoming and inclusive nature of the people at QUF. Her interests include reading, walking in the woods, traveling, and spending time with family and friends, including her great-grandchildren. Charlie Aldrich worked for 25 years in the city water department in Livermore, California. He and his wife moved here to be near their daughter. His wife of almost 30 years died in 2021. He is looking for a community of people who are welcoming to all people who respect others. Lori Jones spent her career teaching in New Orleans and moved to Port Townsend as a climate refugee in 2016. She feels drawn to QUF by concepts of community involvement and service, love and acceptance of others, and embracing diversity. She looks forward to finding ways to serve. Kareem Santiago has come to love QUF's Sunday sermons and the RE program for children. 7-year-old Sage and 4-year program for his kids, 7-year-old Sage and 4-year-old Koali. Unitarian Universalism is the first religion he has been drawn to for its humanistic values and passion for justice. Kareem is a student of life and has joined the RE program not only as a teacher, but as a student. He loves learning about UUism and being part of the Parents' Covenant group and plans to find new ways to be involved. He loves to exercise, play music, hike with his kids and dog, and develop his skills working with wood. Razi Chaya was drawn to QUF by the RE program. She's the mother of Greta, age 6, and Wyatt, age 12, and is glad to be learning about Unitarian Universalism along with them. Finding a church that is kind and accepting, especially of the LGBTQ+ community, was really important. She and her husband are building a house and homestead in Quilcene. She and her family are very active in gardening, fitness classes, martial arts, circus arts, and dance. We are also glad to have Kestrel Campbell, Matthew Mitchell, and Sarah Mitchell joining us in membership. Welcome to you all.
I want to offer my words of welcome to all of you as well. We are delighted to have you join us here at QUUF. As you know, our congregation is based on a common creed not on a common creed, but on a common covenant, a way of being with each other in loving, supportive, and cooperative community. As such, we will do our best to be a source of strength, compassion, and growth for you, and ask that you too become a source of strength, compassion, and growth for others. For it is in lifting each other up and working collectively that we make our vibrant, life-changing community. Now, I will ask 2 questions of you, and if you agree, when I've finished, you answer, this is y'all, you answer, I do. Do you wish to become a member of Quimper Unitarian Universalist Fellowship? Well done. Welcome into covenant and membership with the Quimper Fellowship. And now, QUUF community, will you please rise in body or spirit and join me in our pledge to our newest members? We, the congregation of the Quimper Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, y'all can just listen. Join together in working towards a deeper understanding of one another and upholding our covenant to love, to share, and to serve. Thank you, everyone. After the service, we invite you new members to make a long line leading into the fellowship hall. Y'all may be seated, please. I mean, it's nice to see you standing, but yeah. Anyhow, we invite you to make a line to be greeted as folks are leaving. Each new member has gotten a red ribbon, so you can recognize them. Please greet them and congratulate them on making this fabulous choice that they've made to be part of our community. Welcome so very, very much. Now I would ask, yeah, we can do it. We can clap again. Go ahead. What the heck? It's a happy time. Now, I would ask those of you standing along the aisle to rise and form an arch, and we'll sing our children out to their very short religious education time today. Off you go.
May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Okay, now it's time to pause for a time of generosity and to receive an offering to support the life and ministry of QUUF. The ushers will come among you to receive the offering, and additional ways for giving will be projected. Please join me in our offering words. This fellowship is the community of ourselves. Its energy and resources are our energy and resources. Its wealth is what we share. As we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm our lives within it. Music.
Yes? You can.
So we're going to invite you to sing along on this song, which came flowing down the Dosewallips River through me and to you today. It's called the Dosewallips River Love Song, and we're going to sing the 3 parts and then invite you to sing along on the bottom part while we sing over the top, and we'll make a wonderful harmony. So the first part that you'll keep going on later goes like this. I will lay me down by the river. I will lay me down and rest. I will lay me down by the river and know the world is blessed. I will lay me down by the water's edge. Lay me down and know I'm blessed. Water, heal me with your song. Whisper love poems all night long. So sing along with the first part. I will lay me down by the river. I will lay me down and rest. I will lay me down by the river and know the world is blessed. I will lay me down by the river. I will lay me down and rest. I will lay me down by the river and know the world is blessed. I will lay me down by the river. I will lay me down and rest. I will lay me down by the river and know the world is blessed. I will lay me down by the river. I will lay me down and rest. I will lay me down by the river and know the world is blessed. I will lay me down by the river. I will lay me down and rest. I will lay me down by the river and know the world is blessed. I will lay me down by the river. I will lay me down and rest. I will lay me down by the love pole and know the world is blessed.
So this time is set aside to share joys and sorrows. We recognize that our personal joys and sorrows are only a fragment of the joys and sorrows of the larger community of life. And thus, we place this first stone, thinking in particular of the upcoming Transgender Day of Remembrance on November 20th. This day is set aside to remember those who have died tragic deaths related to their gender. Our hearts are particularly heavy this year as risk, legislation, and anti-trans behavior escalates for all LGBTQAI people. And now within the congregation, from Jess Schumacher, she would like to thank all the congregants and friends of QUUF who supported her in her healing process of her broken shin bone the last 3+ months. She is most grateful for the generosity of time and energy and caring, giving her rides to and from appointments, installing a porch railing, and delivering delicious gluten and dairy-free meals twice a week. Her heart is filled with gratitude for this delightfully supportive QUUF community. You got it.
Was there?
We light this candle of joy for the wonderful spirit of this community and everyone who volunteered and attended the auction event on Friday night. The joy and generosity shared here was a reflection of the love and caring that we carry for one another. Yeah. And we place a final stone, holding in our hearts the joys and sorrows I've just shared, but also thinking of such joys and sorrows among us that are unexpressed, but of no less importance. So take a moment and let's settle together. Just feel your feet on the floor, feel your bum sitting in the chair. Notice the weight of your body, resting, held by the chair, supported. And take a breath, letting your breath drop down into your belly, letting it be slower, letting it be calmer. And try on this mantra from spiritual teacher Miranda McPherson with me. You can just do it silently inside your head. Be nothing, do nothing, get nothing. Become nothing, seek for nothing, relinquish nothing. Be as you are, rest in love. We'll do it again. Be nothing, do nothing, get nothing, become nothing, seek for nothing, relinquish nothing. Be as you are, rest in love. Just taking a last breath or two in silence. Thank you. It is a kind of love, is it not? How the cup holds the tea, how the chair stands sturdy and foursquare, how the floor receives the bottoms of shoes or toes, how the soles of feet know where they're supposed to be. I've been thinking about the patience of ordinary things, how clothes wait respectfully in closets, and soap dries quietly in the dish, and towels drink the wet from the skin of the back, and the lovely repetition of stairs. And what is more generous than a window? And our second reading is called Seeing Clearly by Rosemary Watola Trummer. Forgive me for wanting to fix you, as if we could be anything but who we are. Forgive me every time I have looked at you with hawkish eyes, eyes with talons, eyes that hurt, that hunt. Forgive me for thinking I know what you need, for thinking I am right, for scrutinizing, for judging, for using my gaze to build walls. I want to look at you with eyes as soft as the light in the field after dawn. Want to meet you with eyes as benevolent as rain. Want to see you with eyes as open as the sky, open as innocence. Want to see myself this way too. Then it is easier to soften, to lean in, to bloom. This is how I want to look at you, not with eyes that fix, but eyes that dismantle defensiveness, eyes that say, let us meet in our flawedness, eyes unstintingly generous, a gaze that says, you are safe with me, a gaze born of humility, a gaze made of wings. So our special music today is Abundance by Laurence Cole. We're going to have you sing again with us. So please rise in body or spirit.
So you all get to sing some more with us. This is really fun. This is a song called Abundance by Laurence Cole, and we'll sing through each of the 3 parts, so you'll hear them, and then half of the audience is going to learn one part, and half the audience is going to learn the other part, and you're going to look at each other and sing to each other across the aisles while I do the 3rd part on the top. So here is how it goes. Abundance is in the giving, not the having. Let it flow. Abundance is in the giving, not the having. Let it flow. So that's part 1. And the next part that goes over it goes, oh, generosity. Oh, let it flow. Oh, generosity. Oh, let it flow. And don't worry, we're going to have lots of chance to sing your part, so you feel confident in it. And then there's a really tricky kind of counterpoidal part that goes over the top that we're not going to ask you to learn, but I love the words. The words are, when we think we're all for getting, we forget we're all for giving. When we think we're all for getting, we forget we're all for giving. When we think we're all for getting, we forget we're all for giving. So don't worry about learning that.
She's going to sing that one, not us.
I just sang the wrong note, so let's get back on key, whatever that was. Abundance. So we're going to ask this half of the audience to turn that way and look at these folks, and that half turn and look at those folks. And these folks are going to sing along with Jess on the lower part, Abundance, and y'all are going to sing with Katy on the Oh, Generosity. So let's see if this works. And really sing to each other. Oh, it's new
We'll
people
sing
and
each part.
everything.
We'll sing it twice. You keep singing. Just keep singing your part.
Yeah.
Just keep singing your part.
So these folks. Abundance is in the giving, not the having. Let it flow. Abundance is in the giving, not the having. Let it flow. Abundance is in the giving, not the having. Let it flow. Abundance is in the giving, not the having. Let it flow. Abundance is in the giving, not the having. Let it flow. Abundance is in the giving, not the having. Let it flow. Abundance is in the giving, not the having. Let it flow. Abundance is in the giving, not the having. Let it flow. Abundance is in the giving, not the having. Let it flow. Abundance is in the giving, not the having. Let it flow. Now everybody on that part. Generosity. Everybody sing. Oh, let it flow. Oh, generosity. Oh, let it flow. Oh, generosity. Not the having. Oh, let it flow. Generosity. Oh, let it flow. Yeah.
Right here.
Where is it? I'd like to introduce you to, in case you don't already know, Katy Taylor. Katy is a singer, spiritual and life coach, and interfaith minister who brings the practice of presence and mindfulness as best she can into her life and work. She gardens, works, lives, and sings with her husband, Dave, the steadfast land they tend, and her amazing parents, Lynn and Jennifer Taylor, outside of Port Townsend. Katy.
Thank you, Susan. Okay, get this right. So I know I'm preaching on generosity, and I know our political situation is less than generous right now, but all the more reason for us to explore this topic, because we need it. So I'm just going to invite you to imagine with me, you wake up one morning with this vivid dream, and in your dream, it seems that you are in a most wonderful place. The light is shimmering, it's both bright and soft at the same time. You can breathe the air. In fact, it seems perfect for you. You take deep, easy breaths, feeling relaxed and at ease. The ground feels solid and supportive where you stand, and there are paths beckoning. Looking around, you see all kinds of plants and trees, all sorts of green ones growing. You feel called to taste a plant, and it's good and nourishing. You walk over, you lean against a big tree, noticing all the life around it and in it, and you feel comforted by the tree's presence, so solid, so woven into the community all around it. Exploring one of the paths, you find what seems to be a spring. Thirsty, you lie down and scoop up some water into your mouth. It's sweet and clear, quenching your thirst. You hear music and realize there is birdsong all around you. What a perfect place. Air to breathe, water to drink, plants you can have as food, music for your ears. You feel supported, safe, content, and held. And then you realize this is a dream about this planet Earth and her endless generosity. She evolved a living ecosystem that we co-evolved with. Bacteria, worms, and fungi that transport crumbled rock into fertile soil. Herbs and grains that provide us with food. Ocean-dwelling phytoplankton that provide nourishment for sea creatures and produce oxygen for everyone. Mature forests that create wetlands, rain clouds, and habitat for uncountable species. And rock, fossil carbon, and trees that provide the materials for our human homes and projects. Earth, who offers all that we need to live, food, water, air, beauty, the whole living earth, freely given. What a gift. If only we could learn to truly receive it. Instead, I'm often running around juggling the many details that are my life. I work mostly virtually from home, but every morning there's an underlying urgency about getting that work computer open. So I often don't completely enjoy the quiet morning reading and meditative part of the day. The forest and the gardens call me outside into the beauty and the abundance, into the timelessness. But my time scarcity tells me to hurry so I can get back to my life. But what does that mean? Isn't this my life too? Isn't enjoying this cup that holds the tea and the tea that soothes and warms my body just as important part of my life as my work? Not according to the Puritan work ethic that I grew up with, We worked a lot. That's where the reward was, in getting things done. And part of me still believes that this is the way to live. If I'm completely honest with myself, it can feel quite ungenerous to believe this. So I've been studying permaculture and regenerative agriculture over the last year in order to apply it to our home gardens. And one of the things that strikes me most about this kind of approach is how, even though there is work for us to do, it's all about creating conditions to let the other than human beings take over and function naturally. When we restore or create growing conditions for the others to thrive in, the plants, the microbes, the pollinators, the insects, they all work together to create generous and abundant life. They know how to do this. And in regenerative and permaculture garden spaces, there is so much life. Joe Salatin, who's a regenerative farmer in Virginia, gives a beautiful example of how this works with the practice of rotating his animals. The cows eat the grass and fertilize the field. Then the chickens come in, and the cows move to the next field. The chickens come in, and they eat the larvae from the cow manure, and they peck, and they aerate the soil. And they are then also further fertilizing the field. And then the whole process gets rotated to new fields. And by the time the cows come back to graze again, there's new grass, not a bare pasture with eroding soil. So because regenerative agriculture takes care of the soil with nutrient-dense practices, preventing erosion, creating soil structure that can hold more water, the earth can actually do the job of maintaining a livable atmosphere by sequestering more carbon. Not only that, we get healthier, more sustainable food to eat. Just the fact that the earth creates food that we can nourish ourselves with is an amazing act of generosity. At Wild Church, we're often overwhelmed by the generosity of the living earth. The big Doug fir that we meet under has boughs that sweep almost to the ground in some places, with layers and layers of them above. The boughs provide shade in the summer and protection in the winter. When it rains or snows, not very much gets through to our circle. The land and the sea there are rich with life. No matter where we wander, there is some miracle to enchant us, drawing us into a deeper sense of belonging. And the way the Salish Sea and the land meet is an ever-changing threshold of glistening stones, seaweed, and sea life, of shifting sand and land, an invitation to be present to our changing lives. So far, I've been talking mostly about the generosity of the living earth, the other than human beings who so effortlessly ask or give of themselves according to their natures. It's pretty easy, I think, to see how generosity flows from them. As Barbara Crooker suggests in her poem, there's also the patience and ever-ready presence of chairs and clothes and cups and towels and floors, all the basics that provide generous support to our everyday lives. It can be too easy to overlook these friends who are quietly waiting for us to touch and receive them. Can you imagine a world without them? To have no place to sit, nothing to put on when you're cold, or nothing to dry yourself with when you're wet? It would be a poor and meager life indeed. But what about us humans? There are always so many stories of generous actions, of the dedicated aid workers risking their lives in Gaza, of the volunteers that showed up in the Asheville area to help strangers with backup batteries, food, water, and more, of the people who risked their lives to stay behind when Hurricane Milton was moving toward Florida because they had skills to help their neighbors in time of need. Or the small, ordinary gifts, like the woman who sat next to me on the plane and who lent me her second cell phone so I could watch a movie when I realized that my new cell phone didn't have an audio jack. Or my good friend Gretchen, who sent me the gift of a perfect song a couple weeks ago when I was going through a difficult time. Or, of course, the many of you here at QUUF who give your time and your love and your care to this fellowship in so many ways, from planning and orchestrating events to serving on the board to organizing gatherings and greetings and making coffee and collecting the offering and so much more. Did you know that several studies have found that being generous not only feels good, but it also improves our health? Psychologist Dr. Mara Karpel found that volunteering increases our ability to cope with physical pain and symptoms of chronic diseases. Volunteering has been associated with decreases in blood pressure, stomach acid, and cholesterol levels, and increased immunoglobulin A, which boosts our immune system. And due to the helper's high, that endorphin release that we get when we volunteer, it's also been correlated with a lowered risk of mortality in older adults, decreased symptoms of stress, and better sleep. So I think it also feels good to be generous because it is a normal and natural part of our nature. We, as Earth standing on 2 feet, we know the goodness, the naturalness of ourselves when we are being generous. We hold steady the chalice of our being, and we allow the generosity of life to flow through us. A study in the journal Nature found that when people have to make the choice instantly, their first impulse is generosity. Only later do they second guess or start thinking too much about it. However, it's not always easy to act on generosity when we feel tired or hurt or small. At those times, I know I tend to turn inward and focus more on myself. Those are times when I maybe don't feel so much in the flow of life. I feel like I have to change or fix something in myself or in my surroundings or in another to feel better. It's just at these moments that we can practice letting generosity flow through us. Maybe it's generosity toward ourselves. Maybe we need to take a rest, take a breath, get outside for a minute. Maybe it's generosity toward another and accepting them as they are, not scrutinizing or judging, not looking at them with hawkish eyes. As Rosemary Watola said in that poem, I want to look at you with eyes as soft as the light after dawn. I want to meet you with eyes as benevolent as the rain. I want to see you with eyes as open as sky, open as innocence. Doesn't that feel spacious and generous? Imagine looking at everyone that you came across with such eyes, with eyes that accept people who are different from us, with eyes that understand that we're all doing the best we can in each moment, with eyes that are instinctively generous. We can practice this kind of generous openness. In fact, I'm going to invite you to try it on right now. You probably saw that coming. So I'm going to invite you to turn to a neighbor and be a group of 3 if you need to include everybody. So go ahead and just come together in 2 or 3. And we're not going to talk right now, so let me keep your attention. We're not going to introduce ourselves or talk about generosity. I'm going to lead you in a practice. So if you're in a group of 3, I'm going to tell you when to trade. So decide which 2 are going to go first if you're in a group of 3. So we decide which 2 are going to go first, and then I'll tell you when to trade, and then it'll be 2 others. Okay? So we're going to start by everyone breathing with your eyes closed or your eyes cast downward. Just take some breaths. Come back to that centered place. Nice deep breath into the belly, sensing into yourself, feeling your own interior. Breathing into the belly, feeling the breath expand, feeling your heart expand with the breath. And as you release the breath, just letting your body relax, keeping your attention on your breath. And then the first group of 2 is just going to slowly open your eyes and look at each other. See each other with eyes that are unstintingly generous. Eyes that see that you're both doing the best you can in each moment. It can feel uncomfortable. That's okay. Just keep looking and staying with your breath. If you're in a group of 3, you can trade partners now. So the other 2 look at each other. If you're still in that group of 2, stay with that same person. See each other with accepting eyes, with a gaze that says, "You're safe with me." Resist the impulse to talk or to make something happen. Just breathe and open your generous heart. And then everyone can close your eyes and just notice, how do you feel right now, having just seen or been seen with generous eyes, with a gaze born of humility, a gaze made of wings. Maybe you notice that your body, heart, or mind are a little bit softer, a little more relaxed or more open. Or maybe you're noticing something else. Whatever it is, it's welcome. Just notice how that affected you and welcome it all. Thank you. You can make your way back to your seat if you moved for that exercise. When we find ourselves feeling less generous, we can practice not just being physically generous, but also trying on those generous eyes, which helps with the generous heart. One of the challenges we can face with generosity is receiving it. Maybe some of you found that it was hard to receive someone's gaze. But it's here. I mean, it's here all around us. We just don't take it in. We don't see it. Maybe we feel we have to earn the gift. I almost didn't accept that cell phone. I just was like, I don't know if I can use someone else's cell phone. But then I thought, why not? She's offering me this gift, and it made the plane trip so much better to be able to watch that movie, and it gave her a chance to be generous. Maybe we have an underlying assumption that life owes us, so we don't see the generosity of all these things offered to us all the time. What would it be like if we were to receive the generosity of life that's here all the way around us all the time as a gift? Instead of thinking there wasn't enough time every morning, I might be able to just receive the amount of time I have and enjoy it, regardless whether it's 5 minutes or a half hour. Maybe instead of expecting that the floor is going to support us as we walk, we could receive the gift of our feet on the floor by feeling the soles of our feet as we move. Maybe instead of seeing a flight of stairs as an obstacle or a lot of work, we could focus on what Barbara Cooker calls the lovely repetition of stairs, right? And being open to receiving this generosity of life, we find that we too can become channels for generosity's flow. Because isn't this what the world needs right now? More generosity. As our chalice lighting words said, we give back, if we can, something of ourselves, some love, some beauty, some grace, some gift. We give back in gratitude, if we can, something like what is poured into our chalice of being for those who abide with us and those who will follow. Each morning we hold out the chalice of our being to receive, to carry, to give back. May it be so, and amen. So our closing song is another song by Gretchen. It's In Our Hands. It's a zipper song. That means we're going to change one phrase every time we go through it, and I'm going to call out what the new phrase is. So listen for that. It's a song that will feel familiar to you, so we're going to ask you to rise in body or spirit and just jump in and sing along. We're just going to start singing it.
It's in our hands to arise and lead with love. It's in our hands to our one do our part to arise and lead with love, to arise. Let's do lead with love again.
Lead with love again.
It's in our hands to arise and lead with love. It's in our hands to arise. It's in our hands and in our hearts. To each one do our part to arise and lead with love, to arise.
Meet the day.
It's in our hands to arise and meet the day. It's in our hands to arise. It's in our hands and in our hearts. To each one do our part to arise and meet the day, to arise.
Receive the gifts.
It's in our hands to arise and receive the gifts. It's in our hands to arise. It's in our hands and in our hearts. To each one do our part to arise and receive the gifts, to arise.
Join with earth.
It's in our hands to arise and join with earth. It's in our hands to arise. It's in our hands and in our hearts. To each one do our part to arise and join with earth, to arise.
So spontaneously harmonize
With generous eyes.
It's in our hands to arise with generous eyes. It's in our hands to arise. It's in our hands and in our hearts. To each one do our part to arise with generous eyes, to arise.
Savor abundance.
It's in our hands to arise and savor abundance. It's in our hands to arise. It's in our hands and in our hearts. To each one do our part to arise and savor abundance, to arise.
Lead with love.
It's in our hands to arise and lead with love. It's in our hands to arise. It's in our hands and in our hearts. To each one do our part to arise and lead with love, to arise. To arise and lead with love, to arise. To arise and lead with love, to arise.
Yes. Thank you. It's in our hands. It's in our hands to allow the generosity of life to fill the chalice of our being so that we can become channels, receiving, carrying, and giving back generosity into the world. Please join us in our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish our flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment, or the power of transformation. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And join us for one last simple song that the Taylor family often sings as a grace. It's called Unknown Blessings, and it's just simple. Join on in.
We give thanks for the unknown blessings already on their way. We give thanks for the unknown blessings already on their way. We give thanks for the unknown blessings already on their way. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks. We give thanks for the unknown blessings already on their way. We give thanks for the unknown blessings already on their way. We give thanks for the unknown blessings already on their way. We give thanks we give thanks, we give thanks. One more time, we give thanks for the unknown blessings already on their way. We give thanks for the unknown blessings already on their way. We give thanks for the unknown blessings already on their way. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks.